Welcome back. This week, China continued to ramp up its artificial intelligence program in a race against the U.S. to dominate the crucial sector, with CCP-backed DeepSeek releasing an update to its reasoning model. Joining me now with more on how AI is rapidly shaping the future is Brad Gerstner, the founder, chairman, and CEO of Altimeter Capital. Brad, thanks so much for being here. There was a report from Axios recently that said AI is going to wipe out tons of white-collar jobs. How do you see this playing out?
Well, Maria, it's great to be here from the heart of Silicon Valley. And I can tell you, disruption is not destruction. It's evolution. It's the competitive spirit of Silicon Valley and our technology, which has moved to abundance. We have the fastest growing GDP on the planet. We have the economy that's the envy of the world. And it's because we have not slowed down these technologies right when they're getting started. I'm highly concerned that people like Dario at Anthropic, who are pushing this agenda of global safety, it's really a political agenda. They're aligned with effective altruists, and they're suggesting that some global group of bureaucrats should make the rules around how we're going to monitor AI safety, frankly, rather than just competing and winning. Had we done this in the age of the internet, the Chinese internet companies would be running the globe today.
Well, tell that to the white-collar jobs and the people who have those jobs who are about to lose them. What job, does that mean that people need to bone up on training? Is that what we need, more training to participate and thrive in the future?
Well, Maria, as you know, when the internet came along, it put some people out of work. People who worked at the Yellow Pages lost their jobs. I'm not saying nobody will lose their jobs, but you need to start using AI and make yourself bionic. You need to retrain yourself in a way that makes you more capable. But I'm confident that technology in every super cycle, whether we're looking at the computer itself, whether we're looking at the internet, whether we're looking at mobile, it has led to our economic ascension. It has led to more abundance. It has led to a better standard of living, which, so we can't use this fear mongering. Of course, there will people who get disrupted. Right. We need to get them into the game and retrained.
All right. I want to take a break, and then I want to ask you about teaching kids about money and the Invest America Act. Stay with us. We're with Brad Gerstner. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm back with Brad Gerstner, who is the founder, chairman, and CEO of Altimeter Capital. And Brad, I want you to talk about the Invest America Act that you've been talking about with Senator Ted Cruz.
Yeah, so the Invest America Act is now included in the reconciliation bill. Imagine this, Maria. Starting in 2026, every child in America will have this on their phone. 3.7 million kids a year that will get direct stock ownership. They'll own a little bit of Apple, a little bit of Berkshire Hathaway. And those kids now can participate in the upside of America. It's a 401k from birth. They can't touch it. They can't trade it. It will compound on their phone. And by the time they're 18 years old, can be worth $50,000. Direct ownership. Every family in America, from rural Indiana to inner city Trenton. This is the heartbeat of the president's Main Street agenda. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime. Make sure every child in America has a shot at the American dream. That doesn't help rich folks. That helps poor folks and average folks from rural Indiana, like the place I'm from, Maria.
So it's like every child gets $1,000 to put in investing in the stock market. Real quick.
Yeah, so it's on their, it's on their phone, the S&P 500, and companies will add to it, individuals and parents will add to it, philanthropists will add to it, it'll grow over time. This is a transformational idea.
Brad, you're great. Thanks for being here.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brian Kilmeade. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to click to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page. This is the only way that I know for sure that you're not going to miss any great commentary, any great news bites, any great interviews coming your way on Fox. You can get it all here on YouTube. So subscribe right now.